Hi, my name is Shannon. Welcome back to my channel. Now, I've been watching Risa Tisa, and I think a lot of us have been watching it and thinking about the things that we ignore, the red flags, the relationship gaslighting, the complex toxic friendships that we've had and let go of or are trying to heal from. And here's where I can help. I work on issues of harassment and stalking on a daily basis in my business. I'm an investigator. I do open source intelligence, and I also do private investigation, and I do social media, and all of this to say I teach classes on this. I teach webinars on this. This is my bread and butter, if you will. But mainly it's because it's happened to me. Toxic parents, toxic family, toxic friends, relationships and red flags up and down. But also because I've had a stalker, and I do right now. So how are we dealing with it? Let's talk a little bit about the myths of stalking and harassment, that it might never happen to you, that your former loving partner couldn't turn into somebody who would do that to you. And the reason I want to talk about them is because it's part of understanding red flags and baseline behaviors. What I mean by baseline behaviors is what's normal for somebody in a relationship, what's normal for a friendship, what's normal in how they speak to you and how they conduct themselves. And understanding those baseline behaviors can help you better understand your partner, the person you're dating, the people that you're potentially dating, your friendships, your parents and family relationships. These might all be things that you could look for in these relationships that maybe you've been second guessing yourself and you thought it could never happen to me, or it's not possible that these people could undermine my life. But if Risa Tisa has shown us anything, it's that you can lie to yourself. They can lie to you, and you will lie to yourself, convincing yourself that these people are exactly what they say they are, even when your gut and your instincts are telling you otherwise. The reality is, stalking starts early. A lot of us, approximately 54% of female victims and 41% of male victims, have experienced stalking by the age of 25. That means plenty of people in college, plenty of people in their high school relationships, it follows them into adulthood. They've already experienced these behaviors of harassment and stalking by the time they reach their 20s. The reality is harassment and stalking can impact you on a physical and mental health level. And as you see from the videos of people telling their stories now on this platform and others, the narrative isn't always a straight line. Sometimes it's a journey to get there, to realize what's being done to you, how you've been gaslit, and the red flags that you ignored. One more statistic you might find interesting. 68% of female and 70% of male victims have experienced threats of physical harm during their lifetime. So maybe you're not being harassed or stalked, but somebody has threatened to harm you. So when we're doing assessments, as advocates, as victim advocates, or working with intimate partner violence, or working on situations of harassment and stalking, we as investigators or advocates or friends of, or in the sphere of the individuals this is happening to, have to remember a few things. That they will do anything, say anything, be anything that you want them to be. So how do we spot the red flags? Well, there's a couple of things to think about. Love bombing is a common one. These are things that are mentioned a lot on social media. You know, somebody love bombs you in a relationship and, you know, is immediately telling you I love you after a week or two, or even sooner, even days into a relationship. Maybe you've moved in together quickly. They move quickly in the relationship in all aspects. Not only do they love bomb you, but they physically want to be closer to you. Risa Tisa's husband at the time, he moved in with her within 2 weeks, if I recall. So in addition to love bombings, that includes compliments, flattery, declaring you're their soulmate even though they just met you. They're probably overly friendly. This can happen in friendships too. Love bombing also happens with non-romantic relationships like platonic friendships. Maybe they pretend to be your best friend, like BFF forever, and you just met. You don't know each other that well, but they are suddenly declaring that you all are best friends and that you feel like you've known each other forever, and they mirror your interests in the things that you like and try to be like you, so that all the things you're building up in your head, whether it's romantic or friendship, you see them as somebody that you could be friends with for life because they have mirrored all of your same interests or similar interests and found things that you like that they now suddenly like. Other signs of manipulation in relationships. Now remember, these can apply to toxic parental relationships, friendships, and romantic partnerships. None of these are exclusive to those relationships, but some of them might present more commonly in romantic relationships or friendships. They might use social media and networking to provoke jealousy or rivalries where there wasn't any before. Let's say you have a group chat and suddenly there's one person that seems a little bit off, and they've decided to have everyone, they circle back with you in a different group chat and talk to you about that other person that seems a little bit off. And, they're suddenly telling you stories that you've never heard about this person, and suddenly group chat's a little awkward. That's a form of manipulation. That could be them telling you a story behind someone else's back that is also a mutual friend of yours. That's a form of gaslighting. It's a form of manipulation. Other things that somebody who is manipulative or has red flags that you might consider: lies and excuses for everything. Now, with Legion, he had lies for everything. He had excuses for everything, but he's not the only one. We all know somebody in our lives. We've all experienced this, where they always have an excuse for why something didn't happen or did happen, and it's never their fault. They always lay the blame on someone else. Sometimes they'll lie about things that don't even require them to lie. Little things, big things, everything. Or they will create a situation where they have to find an excuse or a way to blame somebody for when something goes wrong in the workplace, at home, in a relationship. If you get into an argument, it's always your fault, not their fault. No, these don't always happen in the same time frame. They can be spread out over time. They could increase or decrease with the level of stress in the relationship. They can also increase and decrease based on the emotional connection with the person. Other things to consider: they play the victim. Not just excuses and lies, but they play victim and they degrade you just to teach you a lesson. I know with parental relationships, this is very common, and also in sometimes formerly close friendships, the friend may try to treat you a certain way. That's why it's really important to listen to your instincts and to trust the things in your gut. Don't ignore the things that seem off to you. I know that there are other people on this app that have recommended the book The Gift of Fear by Gavin de Becker, but it's the thing that I give as a Christmas gift to almost everyone I know, and I encourage people to read it because it helps you see that there are always signs with these situations, with red flags, with manipulative people, with behavioral issues, and they don't always all present at once, but there's always a track record. There's always something that's been done in their past to show these patterns of behavior, and our job is to start to spot those ahead of time and to listen to our instincts rather than ignoring the things that our body and our brain and our heart and our mind are telling us. Now, sometimes those two things don't agree, like your heart and your mind might not agree on things, but your instincts are rarely ever wrong. If you're interested in more information like this, please go follow me on my other video channel, and you can find that on this app in a certain place in my Shmio, if you will, since this app doesn't like that word. Anyway, you can find more information about red flags, baseline behaviors, open source investigations, how advocates identify these patterns, and how we help victims of harassment and stalking, and how you can also advocate for yourself if this happens to you, so that you have the tools and the tips and the tricks of the trade so that you can identify these patterns too, and so that you know how to help somebody if you find a friend is in this situation or if harassment and stalking happens to you. So again, follow me on my other video channel, and if you like this or you find it helpful, useful, or interesting, please feel free to share it with